battle is there right now in some of your starting spots? Has anything settled, do you feel like, in your mind, or are they all up for grabs?
When you look at this, we probably have 9 guys that could start. What I'm looking for is some separation, and when the game starts, some guys have got to. We're scrimmaging more now for that reason. I'm stopping them still too much right now, but you got to have separation. You got to have 2 or 3 or 4 guys that are playing a little bit more than the other guys, and so. But it'll be good to see. It'll be good to see, and they're competing. They're good. We had a player that he's competing against another guy. Got up early to go to the gym, and he went and knocked on the kid's door. Said, "Come on with me. Why don't you come over?" I mean, that's where we're trying to go with this. And you guys all know it's like Shea Alexander. Did I start him early? How many games didn't he start to start the year?
10.
And then by the end of the year, one of our, if not the most effective player that we had. So really early on, I'm just going to be checking it out. I may start a group in the first half and a different group in the second half. I may do that for a while until we really figure out who's who.
I know you said the Shea story was one you were going to be telling for a long time.
Yeah.
Partially because of the work, but does the overall story, like you just mentioned,
yeah.
where a guy doesn't
yeah.
start for 10 games, does
yeah.
that help keep guys that maybe don't start the season in the lineup engaged? In the starting lineup, you kind of engaged that this is still out there for you?
Well, if you're playing and you're at Kentucky, I don't think you really, other than the ego of saying I start the game, especially if I start a different group in the second half. But the story of Shea is good on a lot of fronts, really is.
In practice, how do you balance coming up with lineups to see how guys play together, but also matching them up against whoever might be the best, get the most out of it?
Well, we're spending about an hour on warm-ups and the defensive stuff that we've got to continue on, and then an hour in scrimmaging. And during that hour, I just keep, like I'm rotating in a game. You 3 in, okay, let's play with that team. Okay, you 2 go in, let's play with that team a little bit. You 4 go in, let's play with that team a little bit. And then the other thing you find out is what's effective for them. What can offensively and where are they defensively? How do they rebound the ball? And what I'm saying is we're keeping stats, and efficiency matters here. So, you know, if you're dribbling too much, I call it a turnover. If you're one-handed catch, I'll call it a turnover. If you hold the ball, you're back in high school, you turnover. Because I'm trying to get them still to play the way we're trying to get them to play, and it takes time.
Anybody's at least starting the separation process at this point?
I would probably say PJ and Reed probably a little bit, but Nick has been so good. I mean, who has anybody like a Nick? There are none. He's it. Just trying to get him to catch it in the lane. And then if I tell you that, then probably there's got to be a point in the game, a certain number of minutes that those 3 got to play together. Figure it out, coach. Then I got to figure out how I do that. So we're just working through. This is, I've really enjoyed this because they just tell us how you want us to play. And they come every day and they're trying and they're showing us stuff every day that they can do. They're learning and growing, and, you know, it's just a, you know, anybody that's watched me coach and, you know, wow, this is, you have been, yeah, they make me who I am. I mean, you know, do you want me to be hard and nasty and whatever? I'm going to go to whatever point I got to go to get you to do what you have to do for yourself and our team. This team is kind of like you tell them once and they get it.
How important is Nick's shot block?
Well, Nick and EJ and PJ, I mean, we got Keldon, we got a lot of guys that can block shots, but it's not blocking your man's shot, it's blocking someone else's shot. And, you know, not leaving your feet. Nick's still doing that a little bit. You got to stay down. You got to make him take tough twos. You can't leave your feet and give him straight line shots because they're either getting a layup or a wide open 3. and we're working on it every day. And even in the blue-white, you saw us leave our feet 4, 5, 6 times, and we're working on it every day. You know, there's other things that we got to get with. Who's our best zone team, both on defense and on offense? Who's our best zone offensive team? Somebody plays zone, who's the team that should be on the floor for a number of minutes? And then the same defensively, who's our best zone defensive team? Let's figure that out.
Are Ashton and Emmanuel your two primary options at point guard?
Yep.
Quada, you still like off the ball?
Yep.
Has that settled itself, or are those two still battling it out?
No, they're both going to play. They're both a little bit different, but both really effective and both really getting better.
How much would you like to play them together?
I did yesterday a little bit. It's okay, but, you know, that was the first time in a while they played together. So you got to do this, what we're doing, scrimmaging every day. You know, and we're going with Transy, we're going with IUP, and then around those games we're scrimmaging, just so we can get some sort of rotation and feel. How are they playing when there are people in there? Like, I'll give you an example. You know, when there are people in the stands and it's on television and they got the numbers on their back, then it's like, how do they play now? And you had EJ and Reed probably play as well as they had played this year in that game. But I liked it because there were people in the seats and there was national television, and how you going to play now? And those two kind of stepped up. But Nick played well. PJ played well in the second half. PJ's first half was a struggle. Who'd he go against? Went against Reed. And he got chested about 10 times on his drive. I mean, you know, then you see him, it was like yesterday when I put the 3 bigs in together, all of a sudden he has his way and it's easy. Okay, now you're going against Reed again. Oop, it's hard again. You're going against a grown man, it's a little different.
Where does Kelvin need work right now?
Just consistency, and I want his spirit, but you can't be up and down in this. And it's hard to be that guy, that significant guy, if you're too up and down, and he's just learning. But boys, he's got some stuff. He's shooting the ball better. He's gets a little excited. This is all new to him. He's 18 years old, young kid.
When people see Tyler Hero score 34 and lead you guys in scoring in the Bahamas, should they not get over excited about that, or can people go crazy and get?
Well, I hope he has some 30-point games. Like, I hope we turn around and he has a couple of those. But he's not going to average 30. I mean, he's on a team of other really good players too. So what did Devin Booker average?
12. Even that, maybe not even that.
Devin Booker averaged
15.
no. What was it? So you guys really don't follow us very closely. I'm okay. I mean, I just want you to admit it that you don't. So he barely averaged double figures if he did. And he's a lottery pick, and he scored 70 in a pro game, and he had 23 last night in 3 quarters. So does it really matter? And if it does, it's ego stuff, and those guys don't come here. You know.
Then you guys are honoring CM, as I
Yeah.
understand it, before the game. What can you put into words, is your regard for him?
Well, he had always been kind to me personally, but that's not why he's being honored. He's being honored because of what he did for this athletic department, especially this basketball program. There's 2 guys that took over in this athletic department that had to walk into tough situations and try to get them right. One was CM Newton, to walk in when it was like, what are we going to do and how are we going to climb out of this hole? And then the second one was Coach Joe B. Hall. Who the heck would want to follow Coach Rupp? I mean, those 2 guys walked into situations where it's hard to even come away with a W, and they both did. But CM and his family and what he's meant, he was a player. obviously coached in the SEC, was part of the SEC, and then came here and left his mark. So this game, which was planned because of this, so we could do this, and talk to Martin, who obviously was part of my first staff here. He and his family are coming up from Sanford, and so I'm just happy they're gonna do some video board stuff for them, and he's just done so much for the game of basketball, so much for this university, so much for this athletic department, so much for this basketball program, that I think it's only right that we honor him.
Guys, one more. In terms of just the matchup or the event tomorrow, you haven't played these guys in 5 years. It's got to be a pretty cool opportunity for them to come here and, you know, just you're right next to each other.
Well, they're obviously, Brian and I are good friends. Brian Lane is just, you know, what he's done, and he had to follow in some footsteps. His father, Don Lane, I mean, who was at our clinic this weekend, and I pulled him out because I wanted to see the coaches and the people that watched the stream, which was almost 1,000 people. I wanted them to see him. And, but, you know, what Transy means to this city, and where we can help each other, and that's what we're doing. And then to honor CM on top of it's pretty good.
All right, folks.
10.0 points per game.
10? Like I said, it's right at double.